And then there were 53. The Philadelphia Eagles have finally trimmed down their roster to 53 men. This is the team that we are going into the camp with. This is the team we are going to war with. This is the team we will head into this season with. And dare I say, this is the team that will win the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresh, going to this Philly the podcast. So today, I want to talk about this 53-man roster. There were some surprises. There were some, everybody knew what was going to happen at some positions, but some positions really caught us by surprise. Obviously, only keeping 5 at the wide receiving spot, only keeping, I believe, 3 or 4 at the running back spot. So it's a very interesting 53-man roster. We're going to get into it. Before we do, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. I don't have a good joke for you today. I'm tired. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. So just hit that like, you know what I'm saying? You don't need a joke. So let's get into it, man. Honestly, no, the joke is the Cowboys. That's what the joke is today. So we're going to start with the quarterbacks. Obviously, we only kept 2. Cowboys only kept 1. I don't know why I'm hating on the Cowboys this morning. Either way, the Eagles kept 2 quarterbacks. We got Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew. I don't think that there's any, I won't say any, but there's not much surprise. Reed Sinnett was not very good during preseason, and Carson Strong just wasn't there during preseason for some reason, just didn't give him any snaps. So if he was any worse than what Reed Sinnett was for us, then I kind of understand why we did that. So quarterback, I'm not too surprised. We are all in on Jalen Hurts. This is the guy for us. If he doesn't, he has this year to prove it. That's all I'll say. Then we'll go to the running backs. Obviously, only 3 kept there. Look, we were all saying that we would like to see a Kennedy Brooks get some snaps, maybe be that big body guy. We were looking at Jason Huntley got a lot of work during this preseason and training camp. So some people thought maybe he was going to finally make the roster, especially with his, punt returning, kick returning abilities. Had the longest rush in the preseason, I think was 67 yards. So, I mean, there was a lot of things, kind of pointing. And then you look at the whole wide receiving crew. You thought to yourself, there's a possibility you keep only 5, maybe 6 at the most, and you have an extra spot for that running back group. They didn't use it for that, so we'll see what happens there if there's still another shoe to drop, because I personally think there may still be another shoe dropping pretty soon in the form of maybe a trade, maybe the form. A lot of these guys got cut. A lot of good running backs got cut. Maybe we go out and get one of them. So I don't think we're done there necessarily, but that's what we have so far. So you have Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott. I don't think anyone's really too surprised about that. I will make a bold prediction, and I will say that I think Kenneth Gainwell, if this is how it stays, he'll be our number 1 by midseason. I really do believe that, whether it be because of Miles Sanders' health or just lack of production from Miles Sanders. I think that, this is going to be the year we see Kenneth Gainwell take a big step for us. So that's our running back group. You only got 3 people there. Wide receiver, they end up going with 5. This is where it gets, people are going to be upset. This is where a lot of people have a point of contention, and I'm with you guys. I really am. So the Eagles decided to keep A.J. Brown, Zach Pascal, Devontae Smith, and Quez Watkins. No surprise there. But you had a couple guys fighting for that 5th spot, right? You had Deon Cain, who looked really good during preseason. You had Britton Covey, who brings an element that we didn't have necessarily, even though I think he probably will make the practice squad. He's not on the team right now, so hopefully he can get to the practice squad. Devin Allen obviously had a good, last preseason game, was a guy that a lot of fans liked. They ended up going with Jalen Reagor. I think every Eagles fan wanted Jalen Reagor gone. And I'm not trying to be rude to Jalen Reagor. I'm really not trying to sit here and trash Jalen Reagor, but it's just a confusing pickup. It's a confusing signing. It's a confusing cut when you let go of a guy like Deon Cain, who went out there and performed, right? He went out there and performed. Britton Covey and Devin Allen, I'm kind of basing it more off of what they could be, but Deon Cain Jalen Reagor had another good preseason. I'll give him that, but he had one last year and was absolutely terrible all year. I'm not excited about him being on this roster, but there is rumors. I will say there are rumors that the Vikings are interested in Jalen Reagor, so this could be one of those things that we didn't cut him because we know we can get him. We can get a trade going, right? And going down the line on the defense, it sounds like there's some guys that they are trying to bring back after all this goes through, so we'll get to that. But for now, Jalen Reagor is on this team. So You know, hey, it is what it is. If you like Jalen Reagor, let me know in the comments. Because honestly, there are some people that like Jalen Reagor and are happy he's still on the squad. So I want to know. Tight end, we did keep 3. We kept my guy Jack Stahl. Shout out to Jack Stahl. Obviously, Dallas Goedert. If you thought Dallas Goedert had any chance of getting cut, you probably don't watch football, let alone the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we got Grant Calcaterra. Grant Calcaterra is a guy that I've said throughout this draft process, and especially when we picked him up as an undrafted free agent, if he can stay healthy, if he can stay out there, I see Zach Ertz. I really do. I truly do. I really see a Zach Ertz. And speaking of Zach Ertz, we'll get to the cornerback room. Anyways, but yeah, look, I really do see a Zach Ertz. I think that he's a guy that's going to get open, maybe a little bit better after the catch than a Zach Ertz, excuse me. You know, the whole thing with him was health. Health is wealth. He wasn't able to stay healthy throughout his college years. A lot of concussions, and concussions are a scary thing. So we'll see what happens, man. But I like that he's on this roster. It gives you another pass catching guy, right? Jack Stahl, to me, even though he's improved, and we've had him on the show last year, my internet cut out and he ran the show a little bit. That's when I knew he was about that life now. But, you know, we had Jack Stahl on before, and even he said he's trying to improve as a pass catcher and be a little bit more available in that area of the game. But he's a very good blocking tight end, and he played a lot of snaps last year, and quietly, right? Because he isn't that guy that's going to get you a screen pass. We're not using him like Dallas Goedert, right? So a lot of his production was sneaky. It wasn't numbers. It was just on the field. You watched the tape and you saw Jack Stahl was there. So I'm excited for Jack Stahl, excited for Grant Calcaterra, excited for Dallas Goedert, obviously. So our starting 5 is no surprise to anybody, right? You got Landon Dickerson, you got Lane Johnson, you got Jason Kelsey, excuse me. You have Jordan Mailata, and then you have Landon Dickerson, excuse me. So no surprises here. You look at Sua Opeta, you look at Isaac Seumalo, you look at Josh Sills. A little bit surprising with Josh Sills, I guess you could say. He's probably like the one person that you're developing, right? I mean, Andre Dillard, not surprised that he's back on this team. Unless we can trade him, there was no reason to cut him. I mean, Cam Jurgens showed the heck out. Sua Opeta and Isaac Seumalo are veterans on this team. I didn't see them going anywhere unless, again, another trade. So, offensive line, I'm not going to spend too much time on. I think that we're all excited to see what this O-line is going to be, especially with a Cam Jurgens. What do you do with a Cam Jurgens? I know that they have said, you know, to their blue in the face that they are not going to move him from the center spot. They like him there. They want to keep him there. But if you can have him out there instead of a Isaac Seumalo or a Sua Opeta, hey, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Talent beats it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you could go put him at right guard or left guard or something, I'm not against it. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not against it. So offensive line's not too much of a surprise. Defensive line, again, not really much of a surprise. We kept mainly everybody from last year. The only new face is Jordan Davis. One thing I will say is that all of our drafted rookies, and not every team can say this, all of our drafted rookies did make the team. That is something to be positive about. And 3 of our undrafted rookies made the team. Not a lot of teams can say that. So I think that is something to be proud of, something to be happy about. This organization is starting to make the right decisions when it comes to draft time, so I'm happy about that. Just a little side note. But D-line is basically the same. I mean, there's not much really to talk about it. You're obviously looking for a big step up from Milton Williams. Marlon Tialapatu is somebody that I'm going to keep my eye on. Obviously, a Taron Jackson had some flashes last year. That's another guy I'm going to have my eye on. And then Jordan Davis. I don't know why Derek Barnett's on this team. I'm going to be 110% honest with you. I would have went into this season with 8 defensive linemen and been happy about it. My girlfriend literally asked me the other day, is that guy that always makes mistakes still on the team? Yes, baby. Yes, he is. He is still on the team. All right, now we get to the linebackers. Linebackers, again, not many surprises, not really any, if I'm being 100% honest. So like I said, all our rookies did make it, so you do have Kyron Johnson on this team. You have Kaiser White, who has looked very good during this preseason. You got Patrick Johnson, who's another guy who's looked really good during this preseason. Sean Bradley comes back, which I love. Sean Bradley's the man. Me and him had a little back and forth because one time he said he wanted to do a Madden hands edition. So I did something on Photoshop for him for his hair because he likes to fight, I guess. But he's a funny dude. I like him. And then you got TJ Edwards. Obviously, Nakobe Dean made the team. Hassan Reddick, Davion Taylor, who is a guy that I think has gone through under a lot of people's radar. He has gone under a lot of people's radar. This linebacking group is going to be very, very interesting. We obviously have 8 people at the helm, right? 8 people that can play the position. Only 3 or 4 are going to be out there on the field. So it's going to be very interesting to see who and how they use these guys, right? Now, cornerback room. I want to get into this cornerback room because I'm proud of myself. Right? I'm proud of myself. Shout out to Big Game James. Shout out to Best of Enemies. If you guys don't watch that, you definitely got to go watch that. It's one of the best shows on YouTube right now. No bias at all, obviously. But no, realistically, we talked about the draft at end, and I kept on telling him, because he was looking towards the end of the draft, like looking at cornerbacks, like, who do you like? And I told him a lot of times, I was like, listen, I like Josh Jobe. I think that Josh Jobe is a lot better than he showed in college. I think that the tape doesn't really do him justice for the athleticism that he has, the playmaking ability that he has, his tackling. He's a very sound player. I don't know what happened to be in college, to be honest, in college. I have no idea what went wrong with it. He just didn't play to his ability. But this preseason, he looked very good, obviously made a spot. So I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of you, Josh. You know, obviously you're the one getting paid, so you should be the one that's proud. But I'm happy that I called it. But I'm glad Josh Jobe's here. You obviously got James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox, Darius Slay, Zech McPherson, and Josiah Scott. So Zech McPherson is a guy that we obviously drafted last year. We're giving him another shot. He looked decent during I saw a couple of games. I really watched him. Like the first 2 games, I'll say I really watched him and try to see what he was doing. He looked good. He really did look good. I liked what I saw. I'm not going to sit here and say he's ready to be a starter and all that, because obviously he was going against the second and third team, but I liked what I saw. I thought that a lot of the deficiencies that he had last year when it came to technicalities were kind of corrected, right? Like when you saw the back pedal, it was a lot smoother. When you saw him tackling, it was a lot cleaner. When you saw him breaking up passes, it was a lot more technically sound, I should say. So I'm excited to see what Zech McPherson becomes. Josiah Scott is an interesting one, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but I want to bring something up, and I want to ask you guys, did we waste Zach Ertz? Because obviously Tay Gowan is no longer on this team. So was a 5th round pick enough for Zach Ertz? Maybe I'm being pessimistic, but I'm upset about that, so I just had to say that. But Josiah Scott is a guy that, and Avonte Maddox, there's been some talk there as well, that they may be guys that are looked at as that third safety, that they're looked at as that corner, slash safety, kind of what CGJ is. And I know a lot of people kind of go against me when I say that, but numbers are numbers. He played way more snaps in the slot than he did as an actual safety in college and NFL. So he might be wanting to break out of that mold because of the pay structure that it brings, right? Like if you're the third cornerback, you're not going to get paid nearly as much as a number 1 safety, right? So he wants them to know he's your safety. And I know that on paper it says safety, but at the end of the day, they're going to bring up your snaps, bring up where you played, and they're going to utilize that. That's how, it just is what it is. That's how the NFL works. So I can see Josiah Scott getting some play deep. I could see Avonte Maddox getting some play deep. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Josiah Scott, a guy that I've heard a lot of good things about. Now we get to safeties, man. Safeties is obviously the most beautiful part of the past couple days, right? Eagles were able to trade for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the Saints. Literally gave up nothing. We gave up peanuts. We gave up those circus peanuts. Like peanuts, I like peanuts. Like boiled peanuts are good. You throw them in some Cajun, those are good. You know what I'm saying? But those styrofoam circus peanuts, those are disgusting. And that's what we gave up for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about how much I love Howie Roseman right now. But if you know, you know. So, look, we got Reed Blankenship, an undrafted free agent who did make this team. Another guy, I believe he came out of Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Another guy that people were talking about as a 6th, 5th, 7th round, draft pick that made it to the undrafted free agency, and we were able to scoop up. He makes the roster. That's huge. Marcus Epps. Until Chauncey Gardner-Johnson came here, everybody was saying, Marcus Epps is the best safety on this roster. I kept saying, what does that really mean? That doesn't really tell you much, but it is what it is. So he makes the roster, and now I feel a whole lot more comfortable with him out there as one of our safeties, and it's no slight to him. He hasn't started before. At least now you have a guy who has starting reps, who can he's not a veteran, he's still young, but he can at least cover some of the deficiencies that Marcus Epps may have, right? I think that's the nicest way of saying it. And then Kayvon Wallace, that's another guy. Him and Jalen Reagor, I think, are in the same boat right now. A lot of people are wondering why he's on the team. I like Kayvon. I like Kayvon Wallace. I understand the lack of production, the lack of development. Realistically, it was a really bad preseason for Kayvon Wallace, if I'm being 100% honest. So I understand all the, I don't want to say negativity, but the doubts of why he makes this team. I get that. But he did. It is what it is. Maybe Brian Dawkins called and was like, listen, give him one more try. Give him one more year for me. So, hey, we doing this for you, Brian Dawkins. So Kayvon Wallace makes this team. And then our specialists haven't changed, and they won't change because they are GOATs. I don't care what nobody says. Aaron Sippis had a tough preseason. He had a tough second half of last year, but that's my dog. I don't care. He's going to get it together. He's going to be fine. He got a crazy leg. He just has to get the accuracy right. So I'm not worried about him. I know you guys are. And am I biased because I've had him on the show? Am I biased because I talk to him every now and then? Yes. I don't care. Who cares? It's life. Sometimes that happens. But now the last person I want to go over is Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott, he's back for another one, so I'm excited about that. Not much to say about that. I mean, there was a time where you guys wanted to get rid of him. I'm going to say you guys. I was part of that, but I'm going to say you guys to kind of save face. But look, overall, I'm excited about this roster. I think that this is a championship contending roster. Are there holes? Are there areas of weaknesses that I would like to see them kind of solidify? Yes, I'm not going to lie. Definitely. But there's no perfect team in the NFL. You're not going to get to the second, third team and have starters. That's just how it goes. So I do want to see this depth get a little bit better. And I do want to see maybe another running back. Maybe that's really it. Maybe another running back. Maybe that's it. That's really it. That's all I got right now. Give me another running back, and I'm gung-ho about this team. So you guys let me know how you feel about this team. How do you feel about this roster, the 53 men, that we are going to war with? Let me know in the comments. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here. So, yeah, peace.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird gang nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog. Or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.